Hello friends, welcome back to Spiritism for All, and today we continue to study the book Behind the Scenes of Obsession, whose spiritual author is Manoel Philomeno de Miranda, the one in the left, and the medium psychographer is Divaldo Pereira Franco, the one on the right. And today we will study the chapter Examining the Obsessions, Special Obsessions. Nobody should be mistaken. There are discarnated obsessors exerting a malevolent influence over man, and incarnates with vigorous minds exerting depressing pressure upon the wanderers of eroticity. The trade between the spirits and the creatures on earth in a regime of persecution is parallel to that existing between men and those who lost their physical bodies. We also identify special obsessions which are produced by incarnates over incarnates. So we have a kind of three types of obsessions. Discarnate spirits over incarnated ones over discarnated spirits, incarnates over incarnates, and you have a fourth that would be discarnate over discarnate spirits. Thought is always the vigorous dynamo that emits waves and registers vibrations in uninterrupted interchange through the different frequency bands that circle the earth. Addicted and tormented minds, often slaves of obsessive immovable idea, synchronized with other unprepared and idle minds, generating a devastating pressure. Permanent mental stings disturb the behavior of many creatures who feel bounded or driven by strong constrictions in their mental panels which are disturbing and distressing. Many serious processes of mental alienation start when souls constrained by this possessing force, rather than repelling it, they are cherished by the mental miasmas that end up taking over the minds over which they are spread. Miasmas are kinds of mental constructions, mental constructions, that usually are of low frequency and represent bad energy for incarnates. In case of this nature, the oppressive agent influences the disturbed patient in such a way that it's not uncommon the uprising of the serious problem of spiritual vampirism through the process of absorption of the mental plasma. When the soul is in partial detachment from the body through sleep, the parasitic spirit seeks his victim, who is irresponsible or coerced, continuing with the nefarious consortium in those hours that are reserved for spiritual edification and renewal of the organic body. Once the deleterious attunement is produced, it's very difficult for those who host these unhappy thoughts to free themselves. In the various obsessive problems, it's necessary to examine them to select those that come from the continent of the incarnated souls and those that are linked to the afflictive frames of the spiritual world. Hatred and hallucinated love are the matrix elements of these special obsessions. Hate, due to its long-term fixation on the vengeance, creates a psychic condition that sends mental waves to the victim, involving the desired person who may end up letting himself handcuffed if he is not properly supported by the superior principles of life that are capable of destroying the invading waves. And the crazy love that turns into bitter passion due to the torment imposed by the desire of physical possession of the requested object leads the tormented spirit to visitation at first in the periods of restorative sleep of the victim, until the creation of the intercommunication that degenerates in a distressing condition of organic and psychic wear of the vampirized, but also of the vampirizer. Through the hallucination, he becomes victim. So, the author explains that crazy love that turns to passion can cause the link that allows the obsession to happen. Because frequently you can see in the obsessed one the questions from the past, the events that he caused in the past against the obsessor, when at that time the obsessor was a victim of him. So there is guilty in his mind, the obsessed, and the obsessor wants to avenge and revenge from the past events. And they use the sleep time of the victim. And if the victim don't protect himself, with you see in the next pages how can you protect yourself, he gets vampirized and becomes a real victim of obsession. In any case, however, the clarifying directives of Jesus' message and the routes and vehicles of liberating light to give to everybody, obsessed and obsessors, the means of overcoming their problems. In this sense, Allan Kardec's exhortation about work is unusually effective, because edifying work is itself a transcendental prayer mechanism, and the mind that works is in a defensive condition. The meaning here is how can you get rid of obsession? Jesus told us to forgive, to make to the other what we wanted to be made to us, and the forgiveness and love are the channels to solve all obsessions, because obsessors and obsessed are both victims. We don't have the bad ones and the good ones. And when the victim works trying to help others, he creates an atmosphere through his work that allows his connection to superior spirits, his guard angel, and they can help the obsessed to end the obsession, but not convicting the obsessor, not destroying the obsessor, but helping him to get rid of this illness, because obsession is an illness, a spiritual illness for obsessed and obsessors. Solidarity is like an engine that produces the positive force of love, and as love is the driving cause of the universe, those who are passionate about the mechanics of solidarity are in tune with the instructions of order who run the world. That was, I said before, love is the basic power of the universe in all spiritual material levels. And so, if you work with solidarity, you are helping ones, you are loving others, and you get in tune with the higher spirits who run the world. And our Lord Jesus is the most ranked spirit governor of earth, and he has lots of spirits to help us in his name. Well, let's proceed here. And tolerance, which is the manifestation of that same love in the form of edifying piety, becomes an armor of light, vigorous and malleable, capable of destroying the blasts of furious hatred or the projectiles of disordered desire. Therefore, in fraternal tolerance, the negative vibrations of this or that origin are cancelled out. Therefore, the triad recommended by the egregious codifier reflects the action, prayer, and vigilance recommended by Jesus, the edifying processes of spiritual health, and a bridge that lifts the suffering traveler on earth to the redeeming plateau of the spiritual spheres, free from all constraint and anguish. Next chapter, we will proceed in examining the obsessions, the chapter in front of obsessors.